Mic check. What's up? Big L, rest in peace.
Check it out. Come on, check it. Make sure my mic is loud and my production is tight. Better watch me round your girl if you ain't fucking her right. You damn player haters never wanna see me blow. Flamboyant entertainment, CEO. Yo, the spotlight is mine, it ain't his no more. When Lee come home, niggas can't live no more. And I'm straight, keep a Harlem world mind state. I never lounge where you find Jake. Surprise niggas like a blind date. L rhyme great, and I'ma increase the crime rate for old time's sake. Run with me and I'ma make you a star. With me and my crew hit the...
What's up, Ray Studios? I might go on with Ray Studios later tonight. We'll see if we can do a live later tonight. What's good? Richard, Will, peace. What's up, y'all? We about to get started.
I'm dumb hot. I'll wreck you and your young flock. Keep the gun cop. Represent one block. 139, nigga. The danger zone. We quick to put a bullet in a stranger's dome. I'm known to kick a rough rhyme and rock much shine. Yo, I'm out. I done took up enough time. We out. No doubt. You know how we do. Flamboyant for life.
Dang, it's still tough to listen to Big L. This is a hip-hop artist who passed away. Seemingly never questioned the plan or the way life goes, but seemingly too young. This dude, one of the most talented hip-hop artists out there from back in the day, tragically passed away like many others. What I want to know, the first question I have today is, what is a psychotic break? Because I think it feels like that. I'm not any doctor, not claiming to be. I don't even know if I could define it. Just what I see in my head as I picture as a psychotic break. So I think that's what's happening to our country. That's why I'm bringing it up. Just doing a quick sound check. Going on the Google. Google has this new AI search. I'm looking at their AI search here on this one. And Google says a psychotic break or psychosis is a mental health symptom that can include losing touch with reality. Does that sound like our country thus far? Let's keep going. I'm going to look to see what is the non-medicated cure for this, if there is any. I don't even know. So looking at it further, that can include losing touch with reality, hallucinations, and delusions. And I'm not claiming to be immune to this at all. I'm including myself. I just want to make some people maybe watching the channel for the first time. I don't think there's anything I would exclude myself from. I'm talking about us as a country. People might be suffering with it into varying degrees. It can be a form of schizophrenia, a serious long-term mental illness. And it can distort how a person thinks, acts, feels, and behaves. And it's hard to explain grown adults acting the way that many are nowadays. And that's what I see. So that's what it describes to me. I think about... Let me mute that. I am monitoring my video today. I'm trying to be a professional. Let your bro try to get his game right. And I went back to this Project Veritas video. This is what, to me, my non-medical opinion, a psychotic or psychosis, a little bit different than nervous breakdown or mental breakdown, what it looks like. This famous video that played way back in the channel when James O'Keefe was still with Project Veritas, and this Pfizer director of R&D for mRNA scientific planning, he got kind of caught on candid camera, and he had a psychosis, mental breakdown, in my opinion.
Hey there. Is this seat taken? You work for Pfizer. My question for you is, why does Pfizer want to hide from the public the fact that they're mutating the COVID viruses?
Is this real life? I'm literally a liar. I was trying to impress a person on a date by lying. This is absurd.
Please don't touch me. Well, this is not. By the way, don't tell anybody.
Someone who's just working at a company to literally help the public. You up. You really did. Please bring the cops as soon as possible. I'm really very unsafe.
Can you please unlock your door?
No, don't let them leave.
Please unlock the door.
Give me what is going on
some
here?
stuff. Please unlock the door. Please unlock the door. Unlock the door. We're trying to unlock the door. Unlock the door.
And I'm not trying to relive the details of that. It's not funny, but it is. It's one of those things where I'm like, it's not funny while I'm laughing. I say that. Richard, what I'm getting into today is just, there's so many topics. I'm just going to do a live on it, but I'll give you a breakdown of what I've got on the agenda and many more. Chris Christie bent the knee to Zelensky in Ukraine. And I find it weird that all these celebrities have to get on knee pads and give Zelensky a virtual blowjob to continue on. And then it transitions into, where are we spending our money? And I look at what China's doing in their country, and I don't want to be China, but I'm just looking at what they've done with their money and their infrastructure that they build up. What about ours? While China's building up their infrastructure, I have a video here that went, I think, viral, a woman talking about, I can't walk out in the streets of San Francisco. And I do have anecdotal evidence from somebody who was recently there that confirms it. And I transform that is, does it feel like we're free? I just gave Neo, amazing songwriter, artist, musician, credit for saying common sense stuff, but I know it's courageous, so I do want to give him credit. Within 24 hours, he was like, nah, I want to go to I want to go to a re-education camp. I can never say anything against the LGBTQ identity. And so he had to backtrack. Does that feel like freedom to you? Going through his apology, then talking about Juneteenth. For whatever reason, Juneteenth was trending again. I'm happy to have that conversation. George Floyd was trending again. I'm happy to have that conversation. Rehash that just for a second. This woman was checking out using her hand, like a handprint. And we're coming to that point where things are going to be it's going to be easier for those who want to control us. Keith Olbermann, just a quick video on that. The U.S. women's soccer team. I don't know if we've ever seen that. Benny Johnson tweeted this, is what made me think of it. I don't know if we've ever seen, I'm trying to think of it, maybe somebody else can find, where a country hates its own team in this manner. I don't know if I've ever seen that before on international play. And I don't blame everybody. I hate the team too. Hate is a strong word, but I don't want to see failure. I don't get joy from it, but I don't like the team, is the truth. There's this cool video game it's a fake video game done by AI. I want to talk about that. And probably the biggest topic, I don't know when I'm going to get to it, and I'm not very organized, if you don't know. But the biggest topic is probably Ron DeSantis and the discussion. And he did an interview. Stuff's leaking out now. Not leaking, but they're just doing the previews for this interview with, what's her name? Dana Bash, I believe, the one that was covering up for John Fetterman a while back, where John Fetterman was using the AI or whatever he's using, and she was kind of covering for him. She interviewed Ron DeSantis in a very interesting interview. Ron DeSantis is getting better at his Jeb Bush act. He's getting better at it. He's got some facts. I'm going to talk about the facts, and he's cringe in other ways. So takes are complicated. I want to start with Chris Christie in Ukraine, because to me, it just represents where we are. So Chris Christie is running for president, and he gifts Zelensky. And then the topic here is really odd, because you have to worry about censorship. And I might go to Rumble at any moment. I'm not sure when I'm going to do that, or even if. But I'm on Rumble right now, so shout out if you're up on Rumble. But it's just, it's weird that you can't have a take where I don't care about Ukraine. It's not, I don't wish any harm to anybody or anything like that. That's just never me. It's apathy. I'm apathetic. Meaning more like in my list of priorities, Ukraine's not even in the top 100. I don't care what category you choose: American politics, culture, life, entertainment. I mean, pick the topic. Ukraine, as I care about the money that's going over there that shouldn't be going over there, but I'm talking about just the conflict in general between them and Russia. I do not care. Now, I don't want to live in a bubble. I kind of want to know what's going on, but it ain't got nothing to do with me. That's their beef. And it's weird that these politicians have to go and make these trips. And when I say have to, it seems like they have to. I don't know who's telling them to or not. That's the appearance. So Chris Christie is doing his part to make Ukraine, this is via the New York Post, make sure Ukraine can take heart from more than living on a prayer. So they're trying to make a joke off of the lyrics. During an unannounced visit, all these, like they always have to say unannounced visit. What is that? All of these visits where celebrities go to see him are unannounced. It's a point that I don't understand why they mention that. Like it's unannounced, unplanned. Okay. Christie gifted. I think it's like to say, "Oh, it was dangerous." Is what it comes to. Is what it kind of they're into. Oh, it was a dangerous. It doesn't seem that dangerous to me. They just all rolling up through there. They all have to roll up through there, pretty much. The war-torn nation. That's sad. Christie gifted Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky handwritten lyrics to the Bon Jovi hit "It's My Life" from the famed singer himself. And even if you're a normie that supports this stuff that's going on there, does that not seem like strange to you? That he's going to Ukraine to gift this dude handwritten lyrics to Bon Jovi songs? Doesn't look like propaganda, doesn't look like just complete disconnect from what Americans care about. Do you care, even if you support the war and I've been in some rural parts of this country. I even saw people in rural parts of this country repping the Ukraine flag, which is fine. I got no beef with you over that. But is it just me, or do you support this? Like running for president, I got to go give Zelensky handwritten lyrics from Bon Jovi, "It's My Life." Like it's a part of like a rite of passage or something. Christie became the second current 2024, now we're counting who's going in there to visit Ukraine. So now Tim Scott's got to go, Nikki Haley's probably got to go. Like these are people that if our elections or the primary have integrity, they have no chance at winning. And they know this doesn't help them win. So that just makes it even more strange. Why would you do stuff as a business that doesn't get you more sales? Why would you do something as a politician that doesn't get you votes? That's inorganic. That means something else outside of the normal system is controlling you. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's not trying to win a primary, at least one that's held with integrity. And then you see the links off of it. So I bring him Bon Jovi lyrics. So that means Bon Jovi, and I know it is. I've looked it up. Bon Jovi, kind of did his tribute to Ukraine or whatever. They're playing his songs in Ukraine, and he kind of gave a shout out to them. So you see how it is. It's like Christie has to go. Then he gives them this celebrity handwritten lyrics from the celebrity. It's almost like he's a god. It's like I'm living in this world where there's this new religion and President Zelensky is some type of god that you have to fear. Like I don't even have my take isn't even, I don't even wish harm on nobody. I like Trump's take. Trump was like, hey, I don't like anybody dying. And so I'm like, I don't like anybody dying, but I don't want my money over there. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Go figure it out. That's life. And that's got to be something to be afraid to say. So it's like he's presenting a gift to the god, and the gift is a handwritten note from a famous musician. So the famous musician obviously has to be on board with this. You're not going to give him a Jason Aldean song or something like that. So you give him Bon Jovi, he's on board with it. This is beyond a war and conflict. This is wokeness. And just to give you, so I do have a definition of wokeness, is allowing an authority outside of God to define your moral foundation. This is wokeness in the physical representation of war. The woke is no longer some arbitrary thing that's like, ha ha ha, oh, April in the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is black now. That's more important. That's the culture, but it's not just that anymore. It's now a war. This is wokeness right here. Guns, weapons, death, right there, all under the auspice of wokeness. And I did see the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. It was outstanding. Let me get into it. I do have a little bit of a tweak on my change on the April. My fundamental take doesn't change, but I do have maybe a little bit more positive to say about the new April, believe it or not. But my point is, this is a woke war. If you disagree with it, what does wokeness say? Wokeness says that some authority, doesn't matter who, doesn't matter as many, some authority outside of God defines your moral foundation. So in this case, some other authority says you have to support this. Otherwise, you're evil, right? You're with the devil in the religion of woke. So they go to him, they handshake him, goes against every organic principle, goes against any type of American foundation principle. They're doing war, supporting war without the agreement of Congress. Congress is funding it, but we've never fully declared like, yes, we're in war. So they're kind of doing this proxy thing. And what is it? It's wokeness from Ukraine against Russia. Russia doesn't need to be an enemy. Why does Russia need to be an enemy? I didn't say they had to be a friend, but they ain't got to be an enemy. For me, it's Russia's less of an enemy than Ukraine. I'm not saying Ukraine's an enemy. I'm just saying if you put them side by side. So you go there, and then not only does he go there, he has to come, well, now I've been there, and now I see all these problems. There's atrocities being done. There's atrocities being done all over the country, all over the globe, all over the place. There's nothing against anybody who has family in Ukraine or Poland or anywhere out there. There's nothing to be against you. I was born here in the United States. My parents are through Jamaica. Jamaica has issues too. I don't expect or hear anybody talking about issues in Jamaica. Why the hell would you be talking about issues in Jamaica for? So I'm apathetic on this. Wish you the best, but what do you want me to do? I'm not Captain Save-A-Ho. That's not the role of the United States. That's not my role to be doing that. Recently, they came out with the South African. They were singing some song that appeared to kind of say you wanted to unlive, white people or something to that effect. And I was like, they saying that here in America. I don't even care about South Africa. Why don't we handle that here? I don't even care to talk about it. They ain't got nothing to do with me. As long as they don't bring that ish here. And let me deal with the people who have brought that ish here. I don't care about South Africa. And then he goes on because he has to justify the money that's going over there. I went to the sound of Bucha. I can't pronounce any words. I'm very bad at that, so I apologize. Where I went to a shallow grave of 160 civilians who were executed by the Russian army. I'm sorry, rest in peace. Maybe you should be pushing for those who've got families and you're over there, even if you're contract kind of mercenaries. Maybe you should holler at Zelensky and say, maybe you should try to piece something up. That is a possibility. That is a solution, and maybe you should go ahead and do that. I'm not going to be here just to support a war just because there's a war. And while we're spending billions in Ukraine, China's out here with their Belt and Road Initiative and building up all kinds of beautiful infrastructure. What does this look like to you? They out here balling. Now, China's economy is built off of bubbles too. Don't get me wrong, but they got like buildings to show for it. They got infrastructure to show for it. Our infrastructure here is a joke. We can't even build on that. Beautiful buildings all lit up with like all the, and just Absolutely. And we got that one globe in Vegas that looks spooky as hell. That's basically like the Eye of Sauron. They got stuff built up all over the place. You can go online, you see all kinds of stuff built up. Just straight up flexing the might of China infrastructure. Let's go ahead and change something up and say, like, let's see if we can do something that good. So I'm going over, I just go on different videos. So, I mean, I assume that these are accurate stuff. If it's not, let me know. It's just showing like the beautiful buildings built up. Yeah, it's draconian. It seems safer though. So I'm not saying that we should be copying the CCP. I'm just saying, like, well, let's kind of figure out where's our money, what are our priorities. I'd rather be in a place where we're kind of trying to get up with where they are. Not in the same manner necessarily. I mean, I like to handle stuff more on a local level, but if we're going to have a federal government, damn. So this is Chinese propaganda. Okay. Tell me if it's accurate or not. They're out here clowning. So you wonder why are some countries cozying up to them? What? It's not rocket science. They're just looking at with the tea leaves. They're like, why would I cozy up to the U.S.? And then it manifests itself in safety too. So while they're building up in the most democratic blue areas of the country, they got people out here shook like this. Here's the campaign ad for Gavin Newsom 2024, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. You excited for that? I'm just making that up. So, he's out here acting like he's running for 2024. Oh, here we go. The governor of the city in this state here. Here you go. How's it going out there in San Francisco? Let's check in.
I'm literally shaking right now. I was just getting groceries and I live in San Francisco and I never really feel fully safe. If you live in San Francisco, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And I just got groceries. I'm walking out of the store and this guy is walking past me and says, "Move, you stupid bitch." And he spits in my face, spits all over my face. And then I say, "Excuse me, did you just spit in my face?" And he says, "Move or I'll rape you." There's also people everywhere and everyone's just walking by because they're like, I can't handle something else in San Francisco. It's always something else. I don't even know why I'm posting this. If you live in San Francisco, do you feel this way all the time? I don't feel safe, ever. I literally never feel safe. It's better when it's daylight. But nighttime, no, not leaving my house. I'm literally shaking right now.
So yes, that's, who knows if it's true or not. You could have actors. It looks believable. If she's acting, then she needs we need like a TikTok Emmy. Dylan Mulvaney, just name it the Dylan Mulvaney, the best of all time that I think is an actor. But I don't think this is an act. And I do have anecdotal stories and others from online, but I want to see personal stories. I ain't going out there to find out myself. That's for damn sure. You couldn't pay me enough to be like Sav says out there. Shout out to her. Props to her for her courage to go out there in those streets. I don't even know if she has bodyguards. She just, her and God, basically, and her cameraman or whatever she got out there. That's San Francisco. Bluest area, one of the bluest areas in the country, the most bootlicking area in the country, and you can't even go outside. We're getting spit in the face and somebody say, "I'm going to violate you." And we worried about the Ukraine war? What are your priorities? I'd be like, y'all better stop. If y'all don't stop playing, and I know that's a local area, but I don't care. Even if you say the federal government can't do anything about it, I'm fine with that. Don't you dare send a drop of money to any other country until I can go outside and walk safely. You just wait. Even if you can't do anything, just wait for me. Wait for me to handle that in my local area. Steve Johnson, thanks. Haven't chatted in a while because I haven't been able to do lives in a while. Steve Johnson says, wouldn't stopping peace talks taking place make the U.S. complicit in the deaths of those people? I don't know. Maybe they do have peace talks behind. I want peace talk. I don't care if they got peace talks or not. You just keep my money and keep me up out of it. That's my end game. What are we? We're not the world police? Just running around trying to put money. I think you can put diplomacy, use trade as a kind of anything other than guns or money to guns as diplomacy to kind of get what you want. That's fine. If you want to say, well, we want to kind of press up on Russia, then use non-weapons, non-money for weapon ways to do it. I'm fine with it. And I'm not taking responsibility for anybody's bodies. They got to take responsibility for their own bodies. They need to press up on their own president to take responsibility for their bodies. While people here in the U.S. can't even walk outside. Just distraught. Walked outside on the sidewalk. I was just getting groceries. She's shaking like it looks like it just happened like recently. I was just out there trying to get groceries, and I live where? In San Francisco. I never really feel fully safe if you live in San Francisco. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So I know somebody who recently went to San Francisco, and I haven't even, I've kind of talked to them about, like, I've seen kind of stuff online. When you go, let me know what you see that's really there. I've seen a lot of stuff online, so I tend to believe it from people opinions I respect, and I don't think they would exaggerate this. People who love San Francisco. This isn't the people that are just trying to pile on, and I'm not trying to pile on. I just want the truth. And they love, these are people who love San Francisco, and these are people online who I chat with, and I'm like, dang, have you thought about moving? They're like, no, I love this place. And I'm like, I can't blame you. You do what you need to do. But at the same time, there are consequences. But the person I saw that talked to that just went there came back and said, you know what you were saying? They kind of were sheepish about it because they kind of have the same destiny. They're like a different version of destiny, and they were, kind of like bootlickers of appealing to authority. And even they said, nah, it's worse than you even think it is. They said, like, in the affluent areas in the daytime, it's not that bad. Anywhere else, you don't even walk on the sidewalks most places. All the places, I haven't been there in, I don't even remember, I think 2014 or so. Love San Francisco. I love the city of San Francisco. When I went there, that was the only time I've been there. Just a beautiful, I was blown away. I loved San Francisco. And it's just so sad. Said there's all the different tourist places that you might have went, they ain't even safe like that. And it's not, you walking in the streets, and at nighttime, you damn for sure ain't walking at nighttime. So here she is talking about, like, y'all know what I'm talking about. Just got the groceries, I'm walking to the store, and this guy is walking past me and says, move, you stupid bitch. I don't know if it's drugged out, homeless, what it is, doesn't matter. You just not safe. And we're in the Hunger Games right now, young lady. Somebody's replied to this tweet here where I reposted it. It said, mace in your face, San Francisco citizens need to fight back. And I agree with that point. I would say she needs to flee that area ASAP because it's not safe. We are in survival mode. And if she doesn't have a strong man, she needs a strong man. You need to think safety first. This is beyond politics. This is beyond all that kind of nonsense. It's beyond Ukraine. It's how do I keep myself safe? That's one of the most basic instincts of life. I'm in danger. How do I stay safe? I can't live here. I said the story is tough to hear. My wife was recently there, so I've heard from multiple people about San Francisco. Said the same exact thing that I just said there from multiple people. I forgot she was there a while back. And you're out here paying tax dollars to people who are supposed to protect you because that's the deal. I pay tax dollars, you pay the police or whoever. And when I walk on the sidewalk, I don't have to step in poop, and I hopefully don't have to worry about somebody saying they're going to violate me while I'm trying to go get groceries. And they're not living up to their end of the deal. And you ain't got no leverage to change it. In fact, you're a bigot now. In fact, you right now going violate your MAGA, whether you like it or not. So you might want to move up out of there. My final thought on that one is, how do you get us to the place where it is socially acceptable to be MAGA? Because what she would go to, in my opinion, potentially is corporate red. Corporate blue and corporate red are the same team. They're just underneath the corporate banner. You got different kind of offsprings to appeal to different people. The biggest one is abortion. So Brian Kemp might agree with you on abortion, but everywhere else he's no different than Stacey Abrams. Even more savage, like on against the election, looking into the election and stuff like that. Way more savage than Stacey Abrams. Against like populists. But he's red, so he's on the red team, and I see people bigging him up. Disgusting. I don't care what team he's on. You look at him fundamentally, you look at these people fundamentally, so she would go corporate red, maybe not Brian Kemp, but I don't know what she is, but I'm just talking about her in general. And how do you make that more acceptable for people to go a different path? That's what Ron DeSantis is trying to do. I'll get to Ron DeSantis in a second here, too. Let me get some music going. I want to look at some comments.
We're never falling 6 feet deep. I'm out for presidents to represent me. Say what? I'm out for presidents to represent me. Say what? I'm out for dead presidents to represent me. Whose world is this? The world is yours. The world is yours. It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Whose world is this? The world is yours. The world is yours. It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Whose world is this? It's yours. It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Whose world is this? The world is yours.
Mike has bad knees. Chatting off of Rumble says visiting Zelensky is how they show the 3-letter agencies that they'll play ball. Ties in. Mike has bad knees. His takes are just very concise and on point. Thanks as always for stopping by. That's it. It's basically what Chuck Schumer was like. Hey, Donald Trump, you don't know. Like if you don't play ball, then they have ways to deal with you. Basically, it's your way to go to the indirectly saying I'm on your side. So if you hypothetically want to tip the scales in my favor, go ahead and do it. Chris Christie's the latest that wants that. Mike has bad knees. Says what peace talks? Who knows? There might be peace talks going on behind. Who knows? But I'm not saying that there's any peace talks actively going. Maybe that's what his point is. Honestly, I don't care. It just don't have nothing to do with me. Go figure that out. Middle MAGA miscreants. What's up? I forgot about that label. That's a good one because I really like alliteration. So that's cool. Steve Johnson said last year at least 25 people pushed onto the subway tracks in New York. Yep. Not all of them unlived, but 25 pushed on. Just absolute. We're looking at. I don't know the proper word. What is it? Is it anarchy? Is that the proper word for that? Kind of, I don't know if it's anarchy because there is a centralized control that's almost letting it happen to me. So that's a little bit different than just like straight up wild, wild west. I think it's a little bit different. I gave Neo actually wrote some of my favorite Beyonce songs, I believe. I don't know, he's one of the co-writers on it. I'm not sure how many. But this song is, I got to be in the mood for it. So more of a softer song, R&B. It's Beyonce, but flawless. Flaws and all. Not flawless. Flaws and all. One of my favorite Beyonce songs. Neo is listed as getting credits for writing. He's a great artist. And I gave him credit. I gave Neo credit for his statements. I'll just relive very quickly his original statement. Believe it or not, that is one of my favorite Beyonce songs. But he's done a lot of great stuff. And here's Neo. Here's just a taste of his comments from. I talked about it yesterday.
I have no problem with nobody. Okay,
Right.
Love who you love, do what you do.
Exactly.
I just personally come from an era where a man was a man and a woman was a woman, and it wasn't but two genders, and that's just how I rocked.
Me
now,
too.
You could identify as a goldfish if you feel.
Right.
Okay, let's bring that back. Let's bring that back to me. Now, I need to analyze this a little bit more because if you're going to apologize, I'm not going to play the whole thing. But if you're gonna apologize, I need to know what were you apologizing for. He apologized for this. That's why I'm playing this again. Let's go back again.
Nobody. Okay,
Right.
love who you love, do what you do.
Exactly.
I just personally
Love who you love, do what you do. There's no hate there at all.
with the LBG, I have no problem with with nobody. Okay,
Right.
love who you love, do what you do.
Exactly.
I just personally come from an era where a man.
So you come in, you kind of trying to live together with somebody and people in the country, and you say, do what you do. I got no problem with you. I'm just letting you know who I am. So we can kind of talk and we can respectfully agree or disagree. We can get to know each other. So he's coming like with the utmost of respect.
Okay,
Right.
love who you love, do what you do.
Exactly.
I just personally come from an era where a man was a man and a woman was a woman, and it wasn't but two genders, and that's just how I rock.
Me
now,
too.
You could identify as a goldfish if you feel.
Right.
That wasn't just, he was like, you can identify as whatever you want. It's like, he's even playing the game. He's like, if you want to identify as a goldfish, identify as a goldfish. I ain't got no problem with you.
I
Okay,
agree.
that ain't my business. It becomes my business when you try to make me play the game with you. I'm not.
That's healthy in a relationship. He's setting boundaries. He said, ain't nothing, it's not my business. Now, it does become my business when you come up to me and you say you're a goldfish, and then you say I have to acknowledge that. Now, my business is to tell you that's a boundary. I ain't got to do shit. That's a boundary. That ain't disrespectful. That's like, this is how we can operate together.
Identify as a goldfish if you feel.
Right.
I don't care.
agree.
That ain't my business. It becomes my business when you try to make me play the game with you. I'm not gonna call you a
Right.
goldfish, but you want to be a goldfish, you go be a goldfish. It's all good.
Amen.
I mean,
Well said.
it's just we live in a weird time, man. We do.
You just feel how distraught he sounds. Like, just like everybody's just like, damn, man, I don't know what's going on. This is not your normal. There's always that normal generation, like the young generation is crazy or whatever. This ain't the Beatles. Like the Beatles were like controversial. Elvis was controversial back in the day. Even like the A-Team. I used to love the A-Team TV show. Like that kind of stuff is like, oh, there's more violence on TV. So this is a whole nother level than that kind of stuff.
It's just we live in a weird time, man. We do.
We
live
do.
in a time where a person will have a mental breakdown in front of their camera.
Right.
Wait, let me wipe balance. No, it's right.
That's crazy, right?
What the hell is that? Like,
So those are the comments. And this nigga had, well, when I say had, I mean felt that he had to apologize. And I'm not knocking him for it. I want to reiterate that every time. I am not knocking anybody who wants to apologize because, and I will criticize the apology, but I'm not going to tell Neo what he has to do or what he doesn't have to do to put food on his table. Unless you are going to pay his bills, and he's not that type of dude that come across to me that want somebody else to pay their bills. Unless you want to pay their bills, then you don't. It's not my place to be like, Neo, why'd you apologize? I just want to take it from the standpoint of this. Does it feel like you are free? When a guy like Neo, who's well off, relatively, it's all relative. You can be a millionaire and think you're poor because you want to be a billionaire. And there's nothing wrong with that. But relatively speaking, he has comforts of life, and he still has to apologize. And in the apology, we don't know what he's apologizing for. Notice that there's nothing specific in there. Like, oh, I said this and this was no. There's nothing in there. I'd like to express my deepest apologies. After much reflection, this is a Mao struggle session. After much reflection, I'd like to express my deepest apologies to anyone that I may have hurt with my comments on parenting and gender identity. With my opinion, I said you can have your opinion. I'm just giving you my opinion. And he apologized for anyone he may have hurt. See, what I have to, and this is what I've kind of learned from having opinions where people might think that they're hurt, is I don't care if you're hurt by my opinions or not. I have no idea. If you have a problem with my opinion, I'd love to talk with you about it, and you can even change my mind. I am not here to be like, here's my opinion. I don't care about your opinion. I care about your opinion. I don't care if your feelings are hurt. I do not care if you are in your feelings. Get up out of them. Feelings are legit. That's fine. Once you're done with them, then we can talk. I do not care if you're offended at all. I'm not here for that. Because what it allows people to do is to say, Well, I think you can be a goldfish, just don't bring that to me. I'm offended. Now you have to say, okay, yeah, you're a goldfish. No, that's not how this works. For people who have heard about my comments on parenting and gender identity, I've always been an advocate for love and inclusivity in the LGBTQI plus. He didn't even know what they were. He didn't know that the acronym up to I went in the clip there. So community. So I understand how my comments could have been interpreted as insensitive and offensive. Here's my take. I understand how my comments can be interpreted as insensitive and offensive, and I do not give a damn. If you have a specific problem with something I said, be specific, bitch. Otherwise, get your disingenuous ass up out of my mentions, up out of the video, and go find some rocks to kick. That's the energy that we need right now. Why do you think I'd like Dr. Siva Ayadore? Why do you think I like Laura Loomer, who's going to be on Tim Pool debating on August 18th with Bill Mitchell, which is going to be hype in the Culture War show. But that's the energy I want. I don't need any other, and that's the energy I want. If you have something specific about what I said that you disagree with, then so when you say, "Whoa, why do you hate the LGBTQ community?" Number one, I don't know what that community. I don't know what that means. I don't hate people. I hate idolatry. You create a flag and you start worshiping it. I have problems. What is the flag based on? Who you like to have sex with. Get up out of here. That don't make any sense to me. And notice nobody explains that. I don't have any hate for any person. I do think it's something you need to explain to me why I need to care that you like to have sex with men, you like to have sex with women, you like to have sex with both. Why does that matter? Why do you need to walk down the street with a flag? My take is I don't care. Get that stuff up out of here. So he continues on. So I understand how my comments could have been interpreted as insensitive and offensive. You can interpret anything as offensive. I could say the sky is blue and you could be offended by it. Gender identity is nuanced, and I can honestly admit that I plan to do better. I plan to better educate myself on the topic. What do I need to educate myself on? Neo, I want you to be specific. What do you need to re-educate yourself on? You said it very clearly. You believe in two genders. What's the education? The education sounds like somebody put you in a struggle session, and now you have to believe what somebody else told you to believe. I can honestly admit that I plan to better educate myself on the topic so I can approach future conversations with more empathy. At the end of the day, I lead with love and support everyone's freedom of expression and pursuit of happiness. Some people look at I have my tagline and I say, like, if you have love for fellow citizen, come join me for discussion. Part of the way that I'm going to show love to you is to let you know what I believe, let you know you have the right to believe whatever you believe. Here are my boundaries, and let's maybe watch a movie together. That's how I can show love to you. And if you cross my boundaries, the way I can show love to you is to say, stop doing that. That is love. That's not hate. That is love. I love you as a fellow citizen enough to show you that you are bothering me by trying to force me to call you something. That ain't going to work for me. And you can tell me what your boundaries are. If you don't understand what the boundaries are very simple. The boundaries are the Constitution. So I don't care if somebody's racist. I don't have a problem with a racist person as long as they're not violating my rights. That's the problem. So I don't have a problem with the LGBTQ community as long as they're not trying to silence me or force corporations to work with the government to censor me to violate my rights, or as long as they're not campaigning to violate my 2A rights. Any one of my Bill of Rights are where I'm focusing on. But other amendments, 14th Amendment's very big, and others. That is the boundary. I don't care what you do as long as you don't do that. So a lot of people were going back and forth on Juneteenth. And I take this to a bigger picture and I say, well, why are you celebrating Juneteenth? I have a lot of questions around this fake national holiday. If you are a Black D Black and you celebrate Juneteenth, then explain to me what is the holiday for if it doesn't push back against somebody like Neo having to bend the knee? Why are we celebrating Juneteenth when Black, in quotes, why do I put Black in quotes for people who are new to the channel, or just to clarify, they don't view me as black. And I'm good. Your terms are acceptable, but I just want to explain why, because black really means you have to celebrate Juneteenth to be black. You have to believe in Democrat policies to be black. You have to support Democrat corporate positions to be black. Obviously, I'm not black, don't want to be black. Please don't consider me black. I guess call me dark brown. Why are we celebrating Juneteenth when black people have to apologize after making common sense statements, which were opinions? Does this feel like freedom to you? There's a later clip in that same interview with Vlad TV from Neo.
Let's get back to them days. I feel like parents have almost forgotten what the role of a parent is.
Amen.
It's like, okay,
Lost control.
if your little boy comes to you and says, "Daddy, I want to be a girl," and you just let him rock with that, you just let.
Right.
He's 5.
Right. And where did he get that
If
from?
you let this 5-year-old boy decide to eat candy all day, he's going to do that.
Exactly.
Like, when did it become a good idea to let a 5-year-old, let a 6-year-old, let a 12-year-old make a life-changing decision for themselves?
Right.
When did that happen?
Right.
Like, I don't understand that. I don't get that.
And when did it happen that opinion is something you have to apologize for? That's the other branch off of this. Ray Studios, the Ray Infinity show, just had Broken Traditions on. I haven't had a chance to check that out. His last live, search him up on Rumble. Says, what's your opinion on straight pride? I think that's equally cringe. I'm not against those people, but it's the same take. I don't care what your identity is other than God, family, country. I don't care like you have you like to have sex with women. I don't care, or I don't know. Straight pride is unnecessary, but it is an attempt to shift the Overton window, which I respect. But you will never see me participating or endorsing somebody who comes out here with straight pride. Pride is a sin. I do not support that. I do not support it. I understand because, I say I'm a big Nick Fuentes fan and people don't understand it. It's not even about agreeing or disagreeing with him. He's very smart. I really admire his ability to articulate himself, but he pulls the Overton window in a direction. Matt Walsh pulls in a different direction. Laura Loomer pulls it. Tim Pool pulls it in a different direction. Dr. Shiva pulls it. Ray Studio pulls it. Broken Traditions pulls it. So I like all of them. They have very different philosophies, but we can't allow them to pull the Overton window to the place where Neo says, I'm a parent, and a 5-year-old tells me they want to be a different gender, and I say, for me and my parenting, that's a no. I'm going to at least, start with that, and he has to apologize for it. I'm not allowing the Overton window to be pulled in that direction. I am not free anymore. And why, bringing it back to Juneteenth, why are you blackity blacks celebrating this holiday? This holiday is supposed to be for a local area in Texas that was, reportedly, story goes, the last of the country to find out, because there was no internet there, to find out that slaves were freed. So let's celebrate that notion. If the holiday is something that's worth national celebration, then you can celebrate the Emancipation Proclamation. That was the national announcement. And if you want to do a local holiday and celebrate in Texas or Buffalo or wherever else, fine. It just don't make it a national holiday, because it's not a national holiday. The national holiday was the official announcement if you want to do that. I don't need that. But if you want to do that, you can go ahead, and I would be fine with that if you want to do a local holiday, or if you want to make the Emancipation Proclamation a national holiday. So it's about something else, because when I ask people about that with the Juneteenth stuff, they don't have an answer for it. Why you wouldn't make it the Emancipation Proclamation. I haven't heard one good answer on that. So it's about something else. And I'm like, okay, even if, put that aside, if it's about something that helps push the Overton window towards freedom, I'm all for it. Like if you say, hey, Juneteenth is when Texas locally found out, the last people found out slaves were freed. And now today, they going after Jamie Foxx, they going after Neo, and we need to use this holiday as a reminder of kind of like a prelude to July 4th of we can do independence. We can do this on our own. That's not what the holiday is. You go look at the holiday, the videos we see from the holiday are mostly people twerking, young kids acting a fool, because it's not a holiday where you have some tradition of the older generation like Neo. Like Neo, not that he's old, but he's gone, he's lived a little bit of life. And it's not a holiday where it's like, okay, let's sit down the children and say, what does it mean that we were freed? The last people were freed in Texas. What does that mean now? Are we free now? That's not the holiday. It's a corporate Democrat holiday to celebrate victimhood. It's to remind you were a slave. It ain't to remind you that you were freed. That's the takeaway I get from the holiday. And I won't be a part of anything like that. It's toxic. You can go ahead and have it. And it's very fitting, Juneteenth, very fitting, because the holiday was really born and spawned out of Donald Trump. That holiday was not any type of national discussion across the country until Donald Trump one day didn't know about it. His team didn't know about it or think about it, planned a rally on June 19th. And everyone's supposed to hate Donald Trump. So he plans the rally on June 19th. So you can look up and say, oh, June 19th. Oh, that's really Juneteenth. So that's disrespectful. No, it wasn't disrespectful. It was ignorant. And not ignorant in like I'm trying to knock Trump, but literally the definition of ignorance, he didn't know. So let's have the discussion about it. Nope. It was used as a weapon against Donald Trump. You go back and look at Kamala Harris, you look at Barack Obama, look at any basic celebrity, big name, nobody was talking about Juneteenth until after that Trump incident. So it became a holiday. So then Donald Trump tried to pander to black people, which is I've talked about it, not against y'all, but the blacks for Trump and all that. It's just not my thing. The gays for Trump, not my thing. That's a leftist mentality. The DeSantis camp kind of going at Trump for the gays for Trump stuff. It was good, though I agreed with that. But okay, he did that. He did the platinum, I think it was called the Platinum Plan. Really was the Platinum Plan pandering to black people. And part of the Platinum Plan, this is before Juneteenth became a national holiday. So they used it as a weapon to attack him. So Donald Trump, I think in good faith, like he's pandering, but I think in good faith, he's like, okay, if y'all want this, because he's getting the feedback even from blackity blacks in that side, even MAGA side, like, oh, Juneteenth is this and all that, all this bull. So he's like, okay, well, I'll push to make it a national holiday. He put that in his Platinum Plan before you even had it be created under Joe Biden in 2021 as a national holiday. So he put it in his plan. He's like, okay, I'll if I'm president, I'll make it a national holiday. And then after that, it became a national holiday. But at the end of the day, help me understand. You got all these type of incidents happening that it doesn't sound, does it feel like freedom is my question. Forget about what I think about Juneteenth. Does that feel like freedom to you? And my take is I'd rather figuratively fight. So I want to make sure every time I use one of these words like fight or whatever else, I say figuratively fight. That doesn't mean literally fight like they did in Alabama. I'd rather figuratively fight for independence because we're not free. I don't know if slave's the right term, mental slave. I don't know what it is, but does that feel like freedom to you? It doesn't feel like freedom to me. So the importance is, notice how quick that happens. He says, this is my view on parenting. Within 24 hours, bam, struggle session. You on the couch and you're apologizing. You don't even detail what you're apologizing for other than somebody else's feelings. So that happens quickly. Why is that? I've talked about the talented 10th. They are very quick. That's why they went after Ye. Ye is one of the most talented of. They would want him in the talented 10th. The talented 10th was this idea, and it's still true today, especially with people who self-describe as black. They are sheep. They do. I've talked about how they vote 90% plus with Democrats. That's not normal for because of skin color. They don't make any sense. So you vote 90% with Democrats, you're a sheep. And especially with black people, they do what the icons do. So if Neo is talking out like that and it starts to go viral and people look at it, and then this is in the wake of the Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Aniston thing, where a lot of people were, self-identified blacks were rising up, going after Jennifer Aniston. Notice they didn't go after the ADL though. So they're getting there. They know who to go after, who not to go after. I don't give a damn. And notice is the ADL is the organization, not a group of people. So they go at Jennifer Aniston. This thing comes out with Neo and it's going viral. So they look at this. They have all the data through the social media and all that. They look at this. They can scour the internet and they squash it real quick to show you and I plebs, don't you dare talk out. Don't you dare. You get your job. You will lose your job. We will go after you. So you look at Neo and people are like, oh, Neo's saying what I've always thought. And he was respectful with what he said. He's making a lot of sense. They quickly, no, stop that. You can't be put up on a pedestal and have that opinion and be a free talker, because before you know it, there's going to be a lot of free talkers. People just copy what they see. Most people are just copiers. They're followers. They don't have original thought. They don't have critical thinking, especially on these matters. So they might have their realms like golf, hip hop, or whatever that they critically think. But when you look at these big societal issues, they just want to live their life. They know you touch this, is like a hot stove, you could get burned. So they squash him quickly. That message is sent to other celebrities. Don't you dare speak out. You get froze out. Did you not see what happened to Ye? We will cut that bank account off from you. And I don't know if that literally happened here, but it's just odd how these statements come out and then quickly you saw what happened with that dude in NASCAR. He liked the wrong Twitter post. Indefinitely, I don't know what the update is. Indefinitely suspended. Don't you act out of line. And that's what you're seeing here. You can't control the masses. If you can't control Neo, you can't control the masses, because the masses look at Neo. They look at whatever I don't even know who the celebrities are, Cardi B or Nicki Minaj. I'm so old. I don't even know who Ice Spice is. And I don't really care to at this point. But those are the people that they control. Barton Bella, long time no chat, says, so thankful to see someone call out that ignorance is not derogatory. Yeah, it's important. I think it's an important distinction. Ray Studio says, I'm not a fan of identitarianism. And you guys know I'm not either. I would define identitarianism as the belief of putting an identity above God, family, country. It doesn't matter what identity. So any identity, black identity, fat identity, any identity that goes before that. That's what Juneteenth really is. It's known as a mostly black local celebrated event, and it's to give a critical theory person another holiday to celebrate. Martin Luther King Jr. ain't a black holiday, because critical race theory rebukes Martin Luther King. So that the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday has become awkward. That's why they gave him that statue of a dildo. That was not an accident. I don't know if they meant it to be a dildo, but it's not an accident to me that they picked, out of all the people commissioned to do that statue, that they did a contemporary view on it, because they didn't want to do like a classic statue. They wanted to take it and said, we're not really into Martin Luther King. This is our contemporary view of Martin Luther King Jr. Not to make it look like a dildo, but they didn't care. They wanted to make it look like a thing, like you didn't know what it was. And that was not an accident. So critical theory says that's all it is the belief that everything is racist. So July 4th is racist. We've established that already. But is Juneteenth racist? No. So now you have that holiday. It's a critical race theory holiday. Ray Studio says, the most important things to me are God, family, America, and the Dallas Cowboys. Well, let's go. I'm a secondary Dallas Cowboys fan. If you don't know, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, first and foremost. So I rock with that. This was a cool clip here. And then after this clip, I'll get into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles topic, which I think is a great, fun topic. It's a positive topic to mix things up. But I just saw this going viral, and this is a AI created kind of Mortal Kombat video game. really cool stuff. Really, really cool. So I'll have to describe it just in case, if you're listening on the podcast.
Ronaldo.
So this is a video game that's built in like the style of a Mortal Kombat where you fight characters. That's the whole game. One side fights the other. You pick two characters. Each person picks a character and you fight. And it says, choose your character. Take a look at the characters.
Choose your fighter.
Biden and their AI, Beyonce, and their AI created videos, pictures that look really cool. Angela Merkel, Donald Trump looking like Mortal Kombat fighters. Ronaldo, King James, Mark Zuckerberg, yay! Xi Jinping, Oprah. Oprah looks bad. Bad meaning good. Kim Jong-un. How cool would this be if they really made this a video game? They made Hillary look badass. That's a dope looking Hillary. Putin, Elon Musk, Bezos, and Hawking. I'm just gonna talk over because the music's a little loud. Snoop, Shaquille O'Neal, kind of like a big dude. Rihanna looks great in there. She's great. Marilyn Monroe, Chef Ramsay, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Obama. Obama looks kind of cool. Tom Cruise, Keanu Reeves, Queen Elizabeth II, Gandhi. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. So they end up, Boney Biden looks hard though. That I would probably use Boney Biden. That one looks dope. So they just did this stupid thing with Mortal Kombat. I thought that was really cool. We probably will get to the point with PC mods that they'll get easier where you'll probably see videos of, this type of stuff. Why does Beyonce look like young Mary J. Blige though? They messed Beyonce. Beyonce is the only one they didn't get right. That's not, whoever that is looks good, but even with the hat, Mary J. Blige used to wear the hat. I think she still does. And she even used to have her hair like that too. That doesn't look like Beyonce. That looks like a young Mary J. Blige. But whatever. I wouldn't choose her as a fighter. Who would you choose? Elvis looks badass there. Pope Francis looks badass. Nah, I'm not going to go with Merkel. Trump looks good, but he'd probably be overused. King James looks badass there. Nah, Zuck. They made Zuck look like a lizard, a green lizard. That's funny. I would use A. You know, he'd probably be the first one I use. I'd probably use Ye. He'd do some old wild stuff. We were joking about this one in the comments, and somebody said, "Where's Greta Thunberg or Thunberg, whatever how you pronounce her name?" And I was like, her finishing move, because because Mortal Kombat has the finish him, and then they do fatality. And it's like, what about Greta Thunberg? What if she was in the game? I said her fatality would be talking you to death to the point where the user who lost would have to off themselves. So it wouldn't be like an animation where if you had whatever character you had to off yourself. No. You would have to press a button. Otherwise, Greta Thunberg would keep on talking. Even if you reset the game, it would come back up with her talking, and she's not going to stop talking until you end your own situation. There'd be so many cool finishing moves. That game would go viral. You'd make billions. And wokeness has the last part of this for me. The West versus the East. So we're in real life. We're playing that game in real life. That's what Ukraine's about. And there's this picture here, Justin Trudeau in the West on the left. We're Team Barbie. Xi Jinping and Putin on the right. It's real life. Choose. Who's your fighter? Whose side do you want to be on? We're Team Barbie. That's Justin Trudeau, and I believe that's his son. Looking not the best, I would say. And let me just say this. I'm not going to take a picture. Hopefully I'm not in the place where my son is older, and I believe that's his son. My son is older, and we're taking a picture together and saying we're Team Barbie. That's just not a future that I want to imagine. I'll just say that much. That'd be funny if you could choose them in the fighting game, and then they would be like, what did they throw roses or something all over the place to get their ass beat? And then you do a fatality. You could do all kinds of like different fatalities with them. You could have the fatality with Whoopi Goldberg. That'd be dope. So say you battled them in the fake video game. The fatality would be you put on one of those Whoopi Goldberg platform shoes that she had all the Barbie doll heads in, and you would have their head, you would put their head in the platform shoe, and then you walk off. That'd be you probably turn drag and walk off. That'd be the final note. Hamza Mir says they want everyone to be a fat lesbian. And yeah, I would agree with that. That's your typical Democrat, so they would love that. But let me go to, I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles yesterday. And I will say the movie was amazing. Love the movie. I'm not going to spoil if you're listening, just because I know if I'm going to see a movie, I just turn off the volume if I don't want it spoiled. I'll have to wait a while. Like, I'm not going to spoil Isom either. We got about a quarter of the way through so far. We're just going to do it in like episodes. Outstanding so far. It's early, but we already got through fight scene and stuff, and really well laid out. And the book just feels, gosh, that somebody cares about their book, man. The book feels great. But let me share my screen here. So as far as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, great. Man, I really liked the movie. Just saw it, no spoilers. It was well done. So well done. And I was thinking to myself, would I say that I would recommend? Here's my thing. I can't recommend other people see it. I can just tell you, if this, then that. The only piece of wokeness in the movie wasn't even the weight. The weight of April actually made sense, and I don't know if I want to spoil. That's not really a spoiler. The weight of April made sense, so the weight isn't even an issue for me anymore. It's actually a kind of dope part of the story. The only issue would be like the look of April, the darker skin, and the non-binary-ish look. And I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with obviously the darker. I got darker skin. I don't have a problem with that. The problem I have is that you took a character, whether you think April was white or not. I just hate that discussion. I'm not getting into that. It's irrelevant. None of the Aprils looked like this. And the question was, what's your inspiration? So it wasn't even, I hate, a black character or whatever, or a fat character or a non-binary character. I did a video on the channel a while back where I showed all the LGBTQ non-binary characters in shows that I actually absolutely love. So it had nothing to do with that. But let me get back to the good parts. Man, the movie was good. Man, the movie was good. And I hopefully this isn't a spoiler. I didn't know this. And because I knew I might want to see it, so I didn't dig into it that much. But Ice Cube did the voice for one of the characters, and he was just outstanding. And no surprise, it's Cube. Just outstanding voice work by Ice Cube. I can't praise it enough. It was so cool that I wanted his character to get more. His character got good screen time, but like from the first start, when they introduced his character, it was cool from the start. And they had all these little references in there for, my wife and I of that age, and then all the music. It was an homage. They paid homage to the 90s. They paid homage to my upbringing of entertainment. I absolutely loved the movie. It paid homage to the essence of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The essence of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles part of the essence is they are ninjas. So they always had to be out of sight, out of mind, always hidden. And they paid homage to that. There was always that debate, whether it was Donatello or especially Raphael, or all of them had different curiosity about, I'm just here in the sewers and it's just us. There's a big world out there. I want to see it. I want to experience it. I just outstanding writing, excellent. I think it was better than Super Mario Brothers. And I love Super Mario Brothers, but Super Mario Brothers had some good like meaning to the story, but this was better. And the animation, oh my goodness. The best animation I've ever seen in a movie. Bar none, hands down. The best animation I have ever seen in a movie. I don't know who did the animation. I have to research that. I'm not good on that kind of stuff. I will repeat myself. The animation was great. Great, great, great. The animation was better than Batman the Animated Series. Yes, I said that. It was better than going back to the classic X-Men the Animated Series, Justice League and those are, I love that classic animation. Gosh, the drawing, the animation was out of this world. What did I like about it? Specifically, the shadowing. The number one thing that stands out from the animation for me was one of the biggest things I hate about, like if you look at Paw Patrol and even Super Mario Brothers, I don't even know what that is, that computer generated, and this one probably was too, but it made it look like hand drawn almost. That computer generated animation style. I love the Isom 2 trailer. That might be like some of my second favorite animation, just the trailer for Isom 2. This was better than that. It was the lighting, part of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that was not captured well in the classics that I liked, was the dark and light. They were in the sewers. It's dark in the sewers. They were ninjas. They came out at nighttime. So you have to, it's just like Batman. You've got to have that. And that was what Batman the Animated Series did so well, was the lighting of the light and the dark and the reveal with the shadows and the street lights. I can't praise them enough for that. I cannot praise them enough for that. It was impeccable. It was from the start of the movie. I'm so glad I think I watched the one trailer where they had Can I Kick It? And I didn't even put two and two together that the whole movie would be an homage to 90s, 80s. They had like old school De La in there. Man, that felt good. And then they dropped in like a little bit of like new school hip hop, which was awesome too, just like a little bit. I don't want to be too repetitive. Just ask me any questions that you want about it. Animation, cold. Voiceovers, out, including April, just perfect. The voiceovers were they were perfect. I would not have changed one thing about the voiceovers. From Michelangelo to Donatello to Leonardo, they captured to Splinter. They captured it, yo. They captured it. Just fantastic story writing, the old school references, entertainment. And then the other part of the animation is that it gave a very good feel, like the way they did the camera movement with the animation, of speed. Of like when, this is a fight where you got to be quick. It felt like you saw like the ninja like reflexes or whatever. And then they had like funny parts in it too with that. The music, outstanding. They had ODB in there. I guess I do have a little bit of spoilers. Very minimum spoilers, spoiler alert. They had Shimmy Shimmy Ya Shimmy Yay in there. And I'm in the movie theater like just vibing with it. And I would say go early if you can, because the lead up to it, you could tell from the lead up to it, they did justice. Let's just say that before the movie even starts. I don't know if I can't praise it enough as far as like all that stuff I just said there. So I'm just, man, kudos kudos to them for that. I want to feel like playing it. So they played that. They had all kinds of old school stuff, and then my wife was in there vibing to it. And then when they dropped this, I was like, "Ooh, oh baby, I like it raw." I was like, "Okay, we gonna do this." And on top of doing a great job with the story and the storytelling and all that, on top of all that is where I was like, okay, because you can drop the music in there and it's like it doesn't mean anything if you don't do it right. No, they did it justice. Made me, and after we got back from the movie, we got home and we were watching old cartoons with the kids. To say, hey, yeah, that's, it's part of the reason Mom and I like it so much. The kids loved the movie too, but they didn't get all the old references. The one thing is Super Mario Brothers probably had some more generic references for kids that, kind of like. They had a lot of recent pop, and my kids are 4 and 6. They didn't get all the BTS and all that other type of references in there. But they had a lot of just regular funny stuff in there too. And I like what they did with the story part of it, where this is a minor spoiler, or maybe a mid spoiler alert. I'll just say in general what they did with the turtles trying to bond with the other side. I don't know if I ever saw that at least I don't remember it from the old episodes. That was a new twist that really worked well. I was like, wow, that's how you take something old and make it new and dope. And it was very, very different than the old way that they handled the enemy side versus the turtles. And then the other part of it was the age. So you can see why, and I could tell getting closer to the movie because I hadn't read much about it, but when I've talked about my concerns with April, I kind of saw before I even saw the movie that they were going to do the show as they were teenagers. So that's why April was a girl, not a woman. So that part was explained there. I give them a lot of credit for putting that together. Now, I will say, so the reason why I have to hesitate to kind of recommend it is because there is still the elephant in the room was still there. And the elephant in the room was April. So it did not ruin the movie for me, but it was an underlying theme that never went away through the whole movie. And I will say that April's character, just the look of April's character, as far as like how it was drawn, was actually dope. So the pictures didn't do the animation justice at all. Like what at least from what I didn't see much, but it didn't do it. When in the theaters, the lighting and everything, the character of April was drawn well. And so I think that is somewhat of a mea culpa, because when we were looking at it, and I did go ahead and my issues still are there, but let me see if I can show kind of like my take there. I don't know if I can find that real quick. Where did I put that? The animation. Let me see if I can find this real quick. I don't even know. Did I copy? I don't even think I copied that. So I can't find, it's kind of hard sometimes multitasking while you're on the live, but they were showing the different iterations of what the artist, I believe it's the artist, drew of April, and some of them look terrible. But when you looked at the final one, just the look of the character, say the character wasn't called April, just another character, it was done very well. And in the storyline, I'm not going to spoil, maybe we'll talk about it down the road, the frumpy look of the April character fit the story. So at least the overweight part, the youth part, the frumpy part fit the story. The question still remains why the character was reimagined to have dark skin. Whether you care about that or not, I do care, because it's tough when you're watching the movie. you can't get away. Like, I know what you know. I know that I know what you're doing, why you won't answer the questions, because it's queer theory. But that was the only, there could have been like subtle things I didn't catch, but that's the only overt thing that I caught was the skin swap. Whether you think the original April was black or white or whatever, I don't care to argue that. The skin color was darker. There's no need to do that. Or what's your inspiration? The question always was, what's your inspiration for doing that? I haven't seen an answer. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe that has been answered. I don't know. But the look of it made, the overweight of it actually made sense with the story. And it was, the writing of the new April was good. The writing of the new April was better than the old April. But the writing of the new April, I'll say this, the new April could have been white, redhead, and overweight. And this movie, I would have rated this movie 100 out of 100. I would maybe take a little bit away because they kind of had a little cliche with the villain at the end, but like take away like 1%, make it a 99 or 98. If April were white, a white redhead, frumpy, overweight, don't make her non-binary looking. So if she was a white, more feminine looking redhead, so it was like homage to the old April, but we made her different because it fit with the story, I would have rated this movie 100 out of 100. With the frumpy April, it's still easily a 90 for me. It was hand drawing, so people know. Thank you, Ray. It paid off. It was actual hand drawing. They went old school. See, I've been saying that. Why don't they do more hand drawing? Even if you do a hand drawing and then use some, because you could tell they did something computerized with some of the scenes. Oh, it's just, I even said they had like previews to like Blue Beetle and the Marvels, I think the Marvel movies, Marvel and DC movies, and they were terrible. The previews are terrible. Those movies are awful. I'm sorry. I'm out on all of the Marvel movies. There's no, I bring them up because I told my wife she wasn't interested in the Marvel movies either. She was like, are you a comic, somewhat of a comic book person? Are you interested? I'm like, not even a little bit. And those movies would be more interesting if they did them in the style of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like make them just a cartoon animation. The stuff with the Marvel stuff, it just looks too corny. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. It looks too contrived. The explosions, the superpowers, even though the special effects are so much better than like the original Superman. It looks corny. It looks ridiculous. I can't put my hand on it. It looks soulless. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, soul. The movie had soul. Reminds you of the charm of like movies from back in the day. Same charm from the original, the live action one with Vanilla Ice in a different way. But those Marvel movies don't have any charm in them. They look like corporate productions that help get the actors, writers, and everybody paid. You put in some explosions, you put in no work into the storyline, and then you're supposed to like it because why? I am completely turned off. And I told my wife, she was like, I don't believe you, but I was like, I think those things are going to die away. Unless they change that, unless they fix what they're doing wrong with them, those things don't have a lifespan. They're very expensive to put together. The product that you get out of them is really terrible. It would be like spending millions of dollars on a house and you go in it, you're like, I don't even like this house. That's what those movies feel like. You can tell they put a lot of money into it, and it's like, it has no soul. It's like, you got a lot of fancy things here, but I don't even like these fancy things. Why don't you trim down and focus on character, story building? That's what you get from ISOM. ISOM is slower. At times you get some character development, build things up, like have like deeper thoughts and more kind of side missions and stories that people care about a little bit more intrigue and less identitarianism. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles showed you how to do it. Steve Johnson says, so you didn't feel like they were trying to bribe you with the 90s music? Sometimes it feels like they up the music in the movie to make up for a weak plot progression. Nope, not in this one. Zero. 0%. I would. I mean, I think you guys know I would be railing against the movie if I thought that that's what they were doing. Nope, that's not what they were doing at all. You see, what it was they did it on purpose because they knew parents took their kids out to it. And I saw a lot of adults in the theater. It wasn't a full theater, but more than I've seen in a couple other movies I've been to, wearing the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirts. And no matter what race or whatever you were, these are songs most people kind of heard of. But no, this was not to try to cover up for a poor writing or any plot progression. Nope. Plot progression was excellent, perfect. The movie didn't last too long, and it kind of had that classic, is the movie over? And you know it's not over, they're going to extend it longer. But it actually worked because it helped develop the characters. And the end of the movie, believe it or not, set in the scene, like set in New York, actually had a great message of, we've got to work together to get this done. Done in a great way that wasn't corny, that I thought was felt good. So I have zero thought that they did the music as a way to nostalgia bait and the music fit the parts too. You could tell that the people that chose the music put their love into it. You could feel it. You didn't even have to ask or question about it. I had zero. It's Ginger Side. Yep, but they still made her redhead. That's funny how they did that with. I think she was red. Her dreads or whatever she had for her hair were red, just like they did with Ariel. It's kind of like an homage to. We know that we flipped her skin or whatever. So, for those who argue that the original was black, are you arguing that the original was black with red hair? I don't know, but Ray says I have doubts that this April was better written than the original. Oh, I have no doubts. It's way better written. Not even close. I actually went back and watched some of the old episodes. Way better written. It's a better character. The new is as far as the writing. I just wish they would have just called her Julie and just said we're not, and don't make her look like April because they had the coat and it had to be bigger because she's pretty big. She's not like Lizzo, but she's big. And I just wish they would have just not had it been April. Just don't write April in because it's so different than the original April, in my opinion, which was fine. She was more modern, and so just call her. I don't care. Call her something else. I don't know, and then I would have been fine with that. Don't have her don't have her wear a jacket like April or anything like that. Just make her a new character. I would have had no problem, because it's a big problem because. Why do you need to take something and change it into that? You don't explain that because there's no other explanation other than queer theory. And April was a love interest of Casey Jones. So there's that looking at April as beauty. So I don't have any problem looking at this version of April as beautiful. The problem I have is taking something and changing it into this. Just say we made a whole new character. We don't have April in this one. That would have been fine. And I said, did I almost say Karen? No, she wasn't Karen. Make her April's cousin, or I agree. Make it, you could have done that. You could have been I don't know, you could have had April, and people might have still complained, but I wouldn't have if they would have had here's April, young, because they were teenagers. Here's young April, like a flat, because I think they had a flashback to some characters that didn't have a big role. I'm not going to spoil that, but say you have a little cameo of a young April wearing the jacket, and that would have been oh, that's dope. And then being this is my friend. This is my friend Waukesha or whatever. I don't know what you want to call her. And this version didn't look anything like the old April, and then they took it on like that. That would have been so respectful. The movie was done so respectfully in every single realm that the dark skin swap of April was conscious disrespect. That's a great point, Steve. You could have. That's what if I had your idea, then I would have went to them and said let's do this. I'm fine with this April. Or not, call her something else. Have April be have a little cameo, and then have her say oh, that's my friend April, but I'm Julie. I would have had no problem with that because then you would have had a cameo like, oh, shoot, that's the old April. Maybe you could bring April back in a future one. Or you could have had, I would have actually preferred over even, I would have liked that. But even over that, you could have had this April be young, redhead, feminine, but overweight. And in future ones, you could see as a woman, she, lost weight or something like that, like character development. That would have been my preference. Just keep her the same and do that because everything else was an homage to the original. But hopefully that articulates me kind of tweaking my take a little bit on it. Yeah, you have black and white. You can do cousins. I didn't mean to say like you couldn't do black cousin. You could have done, yeah, you could have just said, here's my cousin. Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah, I agree. Ray says, April's meant to be sexy and beautiful, even though the original show was meant for kids, but the latter seasons were meant for teenage boys. Yeah, I agree. But so I just, maybe he did this comment before I said it, but you could have made April young. But here's the thing. You could still say she was plump and beautiful to whoever in the story. I have no problem with that. So I think I have no problem with saying that you can be beautiful, plump, and all that. And I've talked about my weight stuff and trying to get that right. Ray and we've been talked about that in the past too. So I don't want I don't want my kids, if, hopefully they're not bigger, but, I want them to be healthy. But even if you are, you got to have that confidence. So I don't have a problem with saying that people still thought April was sexy. I like thicker women anyway, but not that thick. But, have her being a teenager and, the other teenagers like her, even though she's more plump. And then in other ones, she kind of changes and it's all good either way. So I don't really have a problem with that part of it, especially if they made it a part of the story. So they kind of explained the overweight part, even though the original show was meant for kids. Yeah. But this was a teenage. So I actually didn't have a problem with that. I just don't understand the skin color part. It's almost like they had to do something overtly to the woke temple. It was the elephant in the room throughout the whole movie. Driving that train, high on cocaine, Casey Jones, you better watch your speed. So I'm not going to spoil anything about Casey Jones or any particular characters, if they were, what they did, if they were in it or not. So yeah, Ray says he wants it more authentic, so it wouldn't work for him. So yeah, I fully see that. I don't think he likes the cousin idea, or because it's like, why do that? Because if you do the cousin idea, why do you really need to do? You could still ask the same question. Why didn't you just have April in it? So I agree. I don't feel you. I think the best one would have been the overweight young April. That would have been great. That would have been perfect. But Ice Cube was so good. He was so good. I love how they showed the bad guys. Because I talk to my kids a lot about bad and good is all relative. I'm going to probably take a break, maybe come back and do live after this. I'll end on this. I like good and bad is all relative. And they touch on that. I love the interaction between the good guys and the bad guys, who are supposed to be the bad guys in the movie. Done very well. So yeah, cool. Thanks for joining. I might do another live. I want to take a break, and I'll probably pop back in at some point. I'm gonna holler at Ray, see when he's gonna be free as well. Thanks a lot for checking it out. Hopefully that ended on a good note. We got a country in the middle of a mental break, and I think when you look at the solution, I don't know why my phone isn't. My phone playing my music? I want my music. Why am I not getting my music? I'm not happy about that. But when you look at a psychotic break, I'm going to take a look at this real quick. Because I want to look at what's the treatment. I didn't even touch on the Alabama stuff, man. That's a sad one. I don't even want to get... There was this Alabama brawl. It's not even the brawl. It's more the reaction to the brawl that's sad to me, but... I want to end on the April. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a great experience. Treatment for psychotic break. I don't want medicine, though. It's widely accepted that the earlier people get help, the better the outcome. So our country is having a psychotic break, and the earlier we kind of fix this, the better. There's no laws. There's no laws that are going to fix this. You can't make a law and say, stop your psychotic break. That's not how it works. 25%, the longer it goes, the harder it will be to undo. 25% of people who develop psychosis will never have another episode. So that's good. Another 50% we know we're going to have this every 250, whatever, 300 a year, whatever. At least, probably the longest. 50% may have more than one episode, but we'll be able to live normal. So there's a chance that we can get out of it. I think that's good news if you're going to make this direct comparison. Psychotic disorders can last for a month or less and only occur once, or they can last 6 months or longer. That's not a good news. Some people experience this will get medication. I did do a search where it's like without medication, and it was like slow down. Arts and creative therapies, that's good. I like that, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever. Entertainment, ISOM. We've got Prime Animations. And a lot of people working on different stuff. Can it be managed without medication? Medications aren't the only way. Some people coping skills include lifestyle changes. Yep, it's not going to be easy. For me as well, making lifestyle changes. I don't know what those would be. A lot of people will go to social media, and I don't know how realistic that is. I mean, if you're searching for a job, for example, I mean, you have to go to LinkedIn. I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, that's a very common thing. LinkedIn is nothing more than social media. It's hard to avoid social media, but there's other ways you can help manage stress. Working through past trauma with a therapist. I've been saying our whole country needs to sit on a couch and get our head shrunk. I agree with that. Find a supporting group. That's kind of like what this is. I'm not making YouTube literally cut my funds. Not that I was making a lot. Not making anything off of it. So that's literally what this is. Y'all are my trauma support group. The middle MAGA miscreants are, hopefully I think that's a positive thing. That's a shout out to everybody. Hearing Voices Network is what they're talking about. Talking directly to the voices to learn. I think they're talking about the imaginary voices. I don't know if that one's going to apply to the whole country or not. I'll holler at y'all later. I'm out.
Oh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yam, shimmy, yeah. Give me the mic so I can take her away. Off on the natural charge, bon voyage. Yeah, from the home of the Dodger Brooklyn squad. Wu-Tang Killer,